I'm joined here today by Mademoiselle Catherine. We're trying to call her Peaches now, but the name's kind of ingrained. Uh, so thanks for joining, everybody. We're going to start class laying down. So there's different ways you could do this. You could simply lay down onto the floor. I happen to have a bolster, so it's actually quite luxurious to use one of these. So if you have one, you could use that. You would put it right up against your sacrum and then lie back like so. Otherwise, either lay on yoga blocks or the floor. If you're using the blocks, you could place one between the shoulder blades on its lowest height, and a second one at the back of the skull on the next height up. And we'll keep your yoga strap nearby. Make your way onto your forearms. You can slide the block just below the neck, and then use your hands to adjust the second block so it's supporting the back of the skull, but the actual neck is unsupported in free space. Then rest your arms out by your sides, open your chest. You're welcome to close the eyes here. And start to take some deep breath into the belly. And you might also feel that belly breath expanding out to the ribs. You can also draw that breath all the way up into the chest. But try to imagine the breath starting in the belly and then rising up. With your tongue resting behind your top teeth, you can very slightly close the back of the throat, just like closing a valve a little bit. And try to draw the breath in and out in really fine streams. Inhaling to 5 seconds if you can. And then exhale to 5 seconds or longer. That longer exhale is really going to help bring down the heartbeat. Helps to calm the mind as well. Now with your next inhale, we'll add lifting the arms over the head towards the back of the mat. And as you exhale, you can reverse the movement, returning your hands next to your hips. So that's option 1. Option 2 is quite nice if you're in this supported back bend. Inhale to lift the arms overhead. And on your exhale, you might explore bending the elbows out to the sides, squeezing the shoulder blades, creating a W shape. And then inhale to reach straight back again. Then option 3 builds from that. Exhale to a W shape, and then bring the palms to the floor, turning the shoulders in. Inhale, palms to the sky, and then reach back. Exhale, W shape, and then rotate the shoulders in, palms down. Inhale, palms face the sky, externally rotating, and reach the arms straight back. So continue exploring in whichever way is feeling good for you this morning, this afternoon, whatever time it is. For most people, internally rotating the shoulder tends to relate to rounding the spine forward into flexion. So that's one of the benefits of exploring it in this position, is that we've supported the spine in extension, a little back bend. And so when you do rotate the shoulder in, the chest is still open. And then notice if you feel an openness to the chest at any point in the movement. And then pause at a sweet spot. We'll take about 5 breaths. And support the back of the head with both hands. Do a little sit-up, tucking in your chin, engage your core. And roll over onto your left arm. Slide the blocks out of the way. And then lay down onto your back, hugging the knees in towards your chest. You can rest your head on the floor, or if it feels comfortable, you might choose to exhale and bow your head towards your knees for a few breaths. And then relaxing the head down, squeeze your right knee to your shoulder, straighten your left leg onto the mat, and make some circles with your ankles, going in one direction and then the other. And then switching sides, hug left knee towards the shoulder, give it a good squeeze, and straighten your right leg onto the mat. And again, circle the ankles. Push down through the right heel. And change directions. And then hug both knees into the shoulders. Take the knees wide apart, stretching along the inner legs, the adductor muscles. And then explore making little circles. Draw the knees forward and together. And then pull back, drawing the knees wide apart. Forward and together. And then wide apart. And continue exploring. Good. Now draw your knee to your right shoulder. Keep your left knee bent as well. Just rest that left foot on the floor. Half happy baby. Lift your right ankle towards the sky, and some of you might be able to hold the ankle with both hands, especially as you draw the knee a little closer to the shoulder. Otherwise, you can take a strap around the ball of your right foot, putting it around the ball of the right foot, just near the toes. Hold both ends of the strap with the right hand, and then gently pull back. Feel free to use both hands on the strap. And then you might find a nice stretch in the back of the leg. So you can push your foot up against the strap and create a very gentle resistance against the pull of your arms. And if you like an extra challenge, you're welcome to lift the head and shoulders off the floor, engaging the front of the neck and the core. About 3 more breaths. And relax the head down. Everybody can take the strap around the right foot now. give it a bit more slack and fully straighten your right leg, contracting the quadriceps. Flex toes to shin. And explore making little movements in the right ankle, tilting the ankle from left to right. And then pause in the center, pulling back. See if you can find a stretch in the back of the calf, maybe in the back of the hamstring, and we'll hang out with it for 5 breaths. And it really doesn't matter what it looks like, it's more about what it feels like. If you are quite flexible, go ahead and straighten your left leg onto the mat. Try to keep the right leg straight. And then pull back on the strap to your own comfortable degree. And then next exhale, open out to the right side. Inhale, come across the center and halfway over to the left. Exhale to the right side, pulling back a little. And then continue making some big circles with your leg. And you're welcome to change directions at any time with that leg. Good. We'll bring that leg over to the right side, pull back, so you can be stretching the inner thigh as well as the hamstrings. But keep your left buttock rooted into the ground. And breathe. And then come back to center. Bend your left leg. Press into the sole of the foot, moving your pelvis over to the right side. And as we take the strap with the left hand, we'll bring both legs over to that left side, so it's a spinal twist. I'm just going to look out for my water here. There we go. And so you can reach your right arm out to the side and try to lean the right shoulder into the floor. This is partly flexibility, but it's also strength. So we're engaging the left side of the core, the abdominal obliques, and that's what's going to help create that twist, turning the chest to the right. We're all going to feel this in slightly different places. It might be a stretch through the right chest, maybe the side of the spine, or even the hip. And focus on your breath. And then come back to center. Center your pelvis. And then draw the left knee to the shoulder. Half happy baby, lifting the left ankle to the sky. You can take a strap around the foot or try to hold it with your hands. And then gently pull back. Press the foot up against your hands or up against the strap. And breathe. If you are feeling really loose here, you might straighten the right leg a little more, or take an exhale to lift the head and shoulders off the ground. 3 more breaths. Inhale, relax the head down, and then bending both knees, we'll take a strap around the left foot. Try to get the ball of the foot just below the toes, and then spread your toes wide. Press the ball of the foot up against the strap. And then explore turning the ankle from side to side, tilting one way and then the other. At the same time, try to keep your left leg as straight as you can comfortably, engaging the quadricep muscles in the front of the thigh. And as you flex your toes to your shin, press up through the heel, and we'll hold this posture for about 8 breaths or so, roughly 30 seconds. Try to find stillness in the pose now. If you are quite loose, go ahead and straighten your right leg onto the mat. About 3 more slow breaths. Keep breathing through your nose. And then taking both ends of the strap with your left hand, big circles, exhale out to the left, and inhale back to center, crossing towards the right. Exhale left. Inhale across to the right, big circles. And continue exploring at your own pace. And then we'll open towards that left side. Keep the right buttock on the floor with the right knee bent or straight. And we'll hang out for a bit. Inhaling, come back to center. Take the strap with the right hand, and we'll move the pelvis over to the left side. On a long exhale, bring the legs over towards the right, and breathe. Gazing over that left shoulder, strong in the left side of the core, or right side of the core rather. You could be using the left side as well to draw the front ribs in, but still try to breathe into the belly. And then slowly come back to center, letting go of the stretch. Bend your knees, center the pelvis, and windshield wiper the legs side to side, taking the feet as wide as the mat, knees side to side. As you lay down, we'll bend the knees and place the feet just in front of the buttocks. Bring your arms by your sides. On a long inhalation, lift the arms over the head towards the back of the mat. As you exhale, lift your hips up and bridge. Try to keep your legs parallel. Inhale, lower the arms down. And exhale, lower through the vertebra. Inhale, lift the arms, reach back. Exhale, lift the hips. Inhale, lower the arms down. And then exhale, come down vertebra by vertebra. And again, inhale, reach back. Exhale, lift the hips, scooping the tailbone forwards. Inhale, lower the arms. And exhale, lower down slow. Again, inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, lift the hips. Inhale, lower the arms. This time, pause there. You can either hold on to the outer edges of the mat, or you can interlace the fingers behind the back. Either way, try to roll your shoulders closer together. Roll the upper arm bones closer behind your back. And take about 5 slow breaths. And exhale, come all the way down, nice and slow. Windshield wiper the legs side to side again, taking the feet as wide as the mat. And we'll bring both knees to the left side and pause. Hook your left ankle on the outside of your right leg. And you can just hang out there using your ankle as a weight to help the right thigh down. Option 2, lift the left knee a few inches and then lower it back down, massaging the left buttock against the floor. And then come back to center, either side, taking the feet wide apart. Exhale, knees to the right. Then hook that right ankle on the outer left thigh. You can just pause there, or you can lift and lower the right knee. And then come back to center. So we'll set up like a bridge pose. Find your yoga block and we'll bring it underneath the sacrum. So you have your lumbar curve, that's the curvy part of your lower back. Below that is your sacrum, that triangular flat bone near the back of the pant line, just below it, top of the buttock region. So you can support your sacrum on the lowest height possible, and then try the next height up. So you're supporting nice and wide across that space, around the top of the buttocks, just below the back of the pant line. Good. And then roll your shoulders back into the floor as if you were in a bridge pose, strong between the shoulder blades. Elbows could be bent with the palms facing each other. Now as you inhale, float your feet off the ground, tensioning your core, and hang out with it. See how much you can lift your feet towards the sky. So you might need to keep your knees bent the whole time. You might find that you can gradually straighten your legs up to the sky. And see if you can relax your belly. If you have to really engage your core strongly, you might be straightening the legs a little bit too much. So maybe you bend the knees. We'll take a few deep breaths. And now we'll connect more with the abdominal core. As you exhale, lower your right leg to hover, or slowly touch the right heel to the floor, straightening that leg. And then inhale, bring it up, touching the feet together. Exhale, straighten the left leg, touch the heel down. And then inhale, bring the leg up, bending the knee, feet together. Exhale, right leg straight, hover the heel or tap. Inhale, bring it up, bending the knee. Exhale, left leg straightening, strong in the core, tap the heel. Inhale, bring it up. And then keep on going at your own pace. If you're really flexible, you can keep both your legs straight the whole time. Think of intending the legs away from each other. Then we'll lower the right leg to hover. 3 breath, holding the posture. That's 1, 2, 3. Bring it back up on an inhale. Exhale, lower the left leg to hover. 1, 2, and 3. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale, bend your knees. Place the feet on the floor. And then see how it feels to scoop the tailbone towards the knees a little bit more. And then reach your feet out towards the front of the mat. Feet might be hip width, they might go wider than that. It's all good. You can even allow your hips and feet to turn out a little bit. And we'll take about 5 slow breaths. So you may feel a nice stretch in the front of the hips now. And you just did a lot of strengthening in that region. Deep breath into the belly. And then bend both knees. Coming into bridge pose. Legs are parallel, about hip width. Take an inhale breath to lift your hips off of the yoga blocks. And then hold bridge for a few breaths. You can take the block out from underneath you, but hang out in bridge a little longer, lifting the hips as much as you can. Press the heels towards your shoulders to activate the hamstrings. And squeeze the buttocks as you continue lifting up. And exhale to come all the way down. Very good. And then let your knees fall in. Take the feet a little bit wider. Just take a few breaths into your belly, relaxing your hip flexors. Gently press the back of the skull into the floor. But honor the natural curve of the neck. We'll make our way up to sitting. You can roll over to one side and help yourself up. We'll take a comfortable cross-legged sitting position. So feel free to put a support underneath your buttocks. And then resting the hands over the knees, take an inhale to pull back with the arms, lifting the heart up. And exhale, shoulders forward, rounding through the back. Inhale, roll up through the spine. Exhale, shoulders forward, tailbone drops. Look towards your belly button. Inhale, rolling up nice and slow. Chin is the last thing to come up. Exhale, rounding. Slowly lower your head. And last one. Inhale to roll up. Good. And then we'll start to make some circles with the spine. This does work best sitting on the floor, but feel free to stay on the props. So you can lean back and then come forward over one knee and then the other. Again, lean back and then come as far forward off to one side and then the other side as possible. And then change directions. And then sitting tall, bring the backs of the hands into each other and make circles with your wrists. Going in one direction and then the other. And then we'll come forward into table position. So you can place your hands underneath your shoulders, knees below the hips, and then take a breath in, pushing into your hands. As you exhale, bring your shoulder blades a little bit closer. Inhale, press through, spreading the shoulder blades. And then exhale, try to keep your arms straight, shoulder blades closer. And repeat that a few times. Inhale, pressing up, spreading. Exhale, slightly retracting, heart drops. Inhale, spreading. Exhale, soften the effort to retract. A few more at your own pace. And then push to spread. Take your hands further forward, palms to the floor. Really emphasize rooting through the little finger side of the hand to help externally rotate the shoulders. You can also scrub the hands out like I'm showing. So that's going to help broaden across your collarbones. And then take a breath to look to your hands. And as you exhale, start to send your hips back towards your feet. Your head can stay up, or you can bow the head down. And we'll simply hold this posture for a little while, keeping the arms straight. Press through the whole hand. And inhale to look up. Bring your hands in a little bit closer, just slightly forward to your shoulders. And as you exhale, bring the whole body forward, bend your elbows, and lower to the floor. Sphinx pose. Take your elbows a little bit past your shoulders. So you can start quite far forward like me. Hands down, breathe into your belly, and start to pull your hands in towards your hips. If your lower back's feeling good, feel free to bring your hands back a little bit more. See what feels good. And the legs can be relaxed at this point in the movement. You can also explore engaging the hamstrings by lifting the feet off the ground. And then see if you can engage your hamstrings with your feet resting on the ground. And that's the kind of tone that we're looking for back bends, whether it's an upward dog or a sphinx pose or even a cobra pose. So the hamstrings work to extend the hip here. A few more breaths. Deep breath into the belly, expanding into the floor. And on your next exhale, come down. Bring your hands where your elbows were, and then a little bit wider. As you inhale, lift your shoulders away from the floor. Pull back with the hands to lift the heart. And exhale to come down. If that's uncomfortable, you can either only come up a little bit, or you can lift the hands off the floor. And This is a guarantee that you're going to engage the upper back instead of jamming into the low back. The lower back does bend, but it tends to be the more flexible part in most people. So the key is to focus on strengthening the upper back, lifting the shoulders away from the floor for a while. And then once you get a good feel of what that feels like in the upper back, use that same engagement when your hands are on the floor. Lift the shoulders away from the ground, and then top of the movement, you can pull back with your hands a little. So a few more to go. Big shoulder loops, pulling back. And last one. We're going to hold this next one 5 breaths, hands on or off the floor. So we're keeping the elbows bent, working the triceps, working the back of the arms. If you like an extra challenge, try to place your feet on your head. Exhale down. And then push up onto your knees, strong in the core. Walk your hands back towards your knees, and then lift your hips up. Then come into a downward dog. You can walk the dog, bending one leg, straightening the other. Option 2 is easier on the wrist, ragdoll, simply holding onto your elbows and letting your torso sway side to side. And that way you get the same effect as walking the dog as far as the lower body goes. Lean over your bent knee, straighten the opposite leg. A few more breaths. And so those of you in down dog can walk your hands towards the back of your mat. Meet us in ragdoll. We'll take about 5 more breaths here. And you're welcome to pause at a sweet spot. Knees can be bent. Knees could be straight if that's comfortable. And then bending knees, let go of your elbows, tuck your chin. Really bend those knees, squeeze the buttocks, and then very slowly roll up to standing. Take your time. Great. And you can take your yoga blocks with you. We're going to open up to the side of the mat. Either side will do it. And then bring the yoga blocks to the floor just in front of you, about shoulder width apart. And then wiggle your feet a little bit wider, slightly angling the feet out. Take a breath in. As you exhale, bend your left leg, right leg straight. Inhale across center. Exhale, switch, right knee bending, left leg straight. And continue. So as you bend into your left knee, you're welcome to lift the ball of your right foot and even lift the toes, and vice versa. Bending right knee, left leg straightening. Try to lift the ball of the foot. That's just going to give you a little more movement around the hips to find comfort in the knees and ankles. If you're feeling a bit looser, you can take your hands to the floor, and that can allow you to explore more depth within the knee flexion, bending the knee. And then bending the left knee, we'll pause there, right leg straight. So you could be up on the blocks, you could be having your hands on the floor, bending that left leg to your own comfortable degree. Push firmly into your left heel, contracting the buttock. A few more breaths. That's better. Inhale across center. And exhale, bend the right leg. Feel free to turn out from the hip a little bit more, pivoting over your heel. And lift the ball of the left foot. And you can share the weight between your hands and your right buttock. And inhale, come back to the center. Walk the yoga blocks underneath your shoulders. And exhale. Feet parallel, bend your knees. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale fully. And now we'll lift and spread the toes and turn the feet away from each other again. So this one's called the goddess squat. I'm just going to move my microphone. So for goddess squat, we'll bend the knees, hands to the inner thighs. Take a breath in. As you exhale, press your right shoulder forward, twisting to the left. Inhale, come up, other side. Exhale, left shoulder forward, twisting to the right. And continue. Inhale, come up. Exhale, right side of the core strong, right shoulder forward. You're going to draw that shoulder away from the ear. Inhale, center. Exhale, left side of the core strong, left shoulder forward as you twist. And do a few more at your own pace. You can twist and bow forward. And then come back to center. Take a breath. Spread the arms out like wings. Exhale fully. Inhale, straighten your legs. Oof. Exhale, turn the right foot out, and then turn the left toes in. We're going to drop that left heel back a little bit, and then set up a warrior two stance. As you inhale, reach the right arm up. And then as you exhale, move into extended side angle. So you might take your right forearm to your thigh. I recommend taking your hand to a yoga block beside the foot. And then imagine playing guitar with your top arm, reaching forward by the ear, up to the sky, back by the hip. All the while, use the right side of your core to turn the left chest open. Use other parts of your core to draw the front ribs in, lengthening and relaxing the lower back. And then you can pause at a sweet spot. Try reaching the arm by the ear. If that's uncomfortable, reach up to the sky instead. And we'll take 5 more breaths. Very good. Inhale to come on up. Warrior two position. Exhale, slowly straighten your front leg and walk your left foot in a little bit closer. And now take a breath in to lift your arms. And as you exhale, allow your pelvis to turn a little bit towards the right foot. Not a whole lot, just a little bit. Just enough to get that right hand down to the block with your legs straighter. And then we'll reach the left arm up for triangle pose. 5 breaths again. And if you wanted an extra challenge for flexibility, you would take a longer triangle and then even take the right hand behind you using the block or the floor. And that's just going to challenge the range of motion more around the hips and hamstrings. Next exhale, bend your right knee. Inhale, come up, just like warrior two. And exhale, parallel feet. Set up the other side. You can drop the right heel back, turn the left foot out, warrior two stance. Inhale, lift the left arm. Exhale, side angle, taking the left forearm to thigh, or bring a yoga block to the inside of your foot. And make big circles with your right arm, just like playing guitar. Exploring what feels right, what doesn't feel right. Where do you feel some benefit? There's the option to wiggle the right heel further back as well. Back leg strong and straight. Pause at a sweet spot. Maybe it's by the ear. Maybe it's up to the sky. You choose. And then use your core to turn the right chest open strongly. And we'll take 5 breaths here. One more breath. And then moving from the core, inhale to come up, warrior two. Exhale, straighten the leg a little more, and walk the right foot closer for triangle. That's a generally good way to approach it. And then take a breath in. As you exhale, allow your pelvis to turn a little bit more towards your left leg, which means we're actually allowing the right leg to rotate inwards. So the pelvis is revolving around that left femur. Then you can bring your hand down to the block, top arm up. If you are a bit more flexible, take the block behind you and increase the distance between the feet. Almost the same stance as warrior two. And breathe. One more breath. On your exhale, bend your left knee. Inhale, come up. Parallel feet. Exhale, hands to the waist. And take an inhale to lift the heart. Exhale, bend your knees to fold. Inhale to a straight spine. So you might keep your knees bent for this one and keep your heart up. Option two, exhale, start to bow forward a little bit. You can keep your knees bent. If you're feeling looser, you might straighten your legs a little. And then hang out for about 8 slow breaths. Some of you who are here might like to practice inversions. So if you do have that inversion in your practice, go ahead and take it. You could interlace the fingers. Well, 5 more slow breaths. And then land your feet. Take an inhale to lift the heart halfway. And then we'll pivot the right foot out. Fold the left edge of the mat over to pad the knee. So feel free to reorient yourself so you're facing the TV or the computer, whatever you're using to watch this class. And then we'll bend the right knee like a lunge. I have yoga blocks under my hands to make my arms longer. On your exhale, lean back, flexing right toes to shin, stretching into the back of the leg. Again, inhale, bend the knee into a lunge. And exhale, straighten the leg. Option to round the spine at the end. Inhale, roll up through the vertebra, lift the heart, and then the chin. Exhale, option to straighten. A few more at your own pace. And then next time you come into a lunge, pause there. Good. And as you exhale, tension your core. Lift the pubic bone a little bit. Feel free to slide the right block back a little bit. And as you inhale, bring your left arm up by the ear. Actively press your left hip forward with buttock power while pulling the right hip back. Like that. And you're welcome to continue lifting the heart and to even add a little bit of a side bend. Further lengthening left side body and lifting the left shoulder up to the ear. So the shoulder blade spreads and lifts, inviting a nice stretch into the psoas. So we're getting to the front of the hip, side body, all the way up into the lat, the left armpit. Think of really using the core to pull the front ribs in. And then come back to center. You can bring the hands down to the blocks, left hand down. Inhale to lift the heart, and you have some options. Exhale, hinge at the hip. Try to keep your back straight and your legs straight. So, option 2 is rounding your back head to knee. Option 3 is hero's pose, pointing your left foot and sitting with the foot just outside of your buttock. Take an inhale to lift the heart. If you're in hero, you can reach for your right foot or use a strap around it, holding that with the left hand. And then exhale, bowing over. And we'll take about 8 breaths here. One of the cool things about this pose that I'm showing, Triang Mukha Ekapada Paschimottanasana, which means 3 limbs forward pose, is that once you get really flexible to hold the foot without a strap, it actually becomes more about strength. So you're trying to press the left thigh bone up to the ribs while aiming the buttock down. Inhale to lift your heart up. And then exhale, we'll bend into that front knee like a lunge and walk the legs back to downward dog or table position. You can take a few breaths to walk it out, make any little moves, and then transition into the other side. So on your next inhale, step left foot forward, just outside of your hand. Fold the right edge over for padding. And then place the hands on yoga blocks. Inhale to bend the front knee. And then as you exhale, slowly straighten the front leg, flexing toes to shin. Again, inhale, bend the knee, press the right hip forward. And exhale, straighten the leg. Option to round the back after. And a few more at your own pace. Anytime you're doing an extension with the spine or a lunge, it's helpful to think of drawing the ears back over the shoulders. And then maybe lift the chin, maybe not. It's up to you. And that helps correct a really common compensation that happens when we're driving or looking at something that's hard to see right in front of us. Chin forward pose. So a few more breaths. And then next time you come into the lunge, we'll pause. And you can slide the left hand back a little bit. Bring the right arm up by the ear, lifting the heart. Squeeze the legs towards each other. And you're welcome to keep that lift to the heart or start to side bend, leaning a little bit to your left. And breathe. Squeeze the legs towards each other, pressing the right hip forward. Strong in the buttocks. And then coming back to center, half split. So take your right hand to the block, slide the left foot forward a little. Inhale to lift the heart. Try to straighten the leg, tensioning front of thigh. Exhale, hinge forward with a straight spine. Option 2, round the spine. And then option 3, point the right foot for half hero. Sitting back with the knees close to each other, all the toenails on the floor outside the buttock. Right hand comes across to the foot or use a strap around it. Inhale to pull back, and then exhale, folding over that leg. Pressing that right thigh bone towards the belly in this posture. And then aim the buttock down. And inhale, slowly come on up. Exhale, bend into the front knee like a lunge. And we'll bring the legs back to table or downward dog again. Walk it out. And then lower the knees to the ground. Bring your legs out in front. Tortoise pose. So take the feet about 1.5 feet in front of you. If your hips are tight, you can place yoga blocks underneath your thigh bones. And then go ahead and take hold of your shins. If you're a bit looser, you might take hold of the feet. And if you're looser still, you can try placing a yoga block underneath both feet. Hooking one ankle over the other. Holding onto the block to pull yourself through. I swear my ankles have gotten bonier. It didn't used to hurt this much. We'll take about 8 breaths. This pose could be very passive. You can focus on relaxing the belly and gently pressing the forearms towards your pelvis. And this has the effect of drawing the heart forward a little bit and sticking the buttocks out. And inhale, slowly coming up. And you can set up for Shavasana. I'm going to place blocks just below my knees, close to the calves, taking the feet about as wide as the mat. Scoop the tail forward a bit, and then engaging the core. Slowly come down onto your back. Bring your arms out by your sides. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. Scoop the tail forward once more. And then completely relax the body. Relax the forehead. Relax the jaw. And we'll take rest for about 5 minutes. So if you're ready to come out of Shavasana, you can start to wiggle your toes, circle the ankles. Taking deep breaths into the belly. And do the same with your hands. Wiggle the fingers and circle the wrists. And on a long inhale, stretch the arms back overhead. And take a long exhale there. Bring your hands to your knees and hug the knees into the shoulders. Give your legs a big squeeze. Feel free to rock side to side. And then roll over to one side. Support yourself on the lower arm for a few breaths. And then come up to a comfortable seat. And thank you very much for practicing today. Hope this felt good. Wish you a great rest of your day and hope to see you on the mat soon.